Luke's Gospel. When some were speaking about the temple, how it was adorned with beautiful stones and gifts dedicated to God, he said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when not one stone will be left upon another. All will be thrown down." They asked him, "Teacher, when will this be? And what will be the sign that this is about to take place?" And he said, "Beware that you are not led astray. For many will come in my name and say, 'I am he,' and 'the time is near.' Do not go after them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified. For these things must take place first, but the end will not follow immediately." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and plagues. And there will be dreadful portents and great signs from heaven. But before all this occurs, they will arrest you and persecute you. They will hand you over to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors because of my name. This will give you an opportunity to testify. So make up your minds not to prepare your defense in advance. For I will give you words and a wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to withstand or contradict. You will be betrayed even by parents and brothers, by relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You will be hated by all because of my name, but not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your souls."
When you tell someone that you're a Christian, you can't always be sure how they will react. Some people will worry that you're going to start preaching at them, and some will be indifferent. Occasionally, you get the person who accuses you of being a Christian simply because you want an easy life and a guaranteed pathway to heaven. They see Christianity as a sort of lucky charm, with prayer smoothing out life's rough patches, a bit like the sweepers in a curling game. But today's gospel paints a very different picture. This is no cosy life, no smooth path to heaven. Jesus speaks of destruction, war, famine and plagues. He tells his disciples not to be terrified, but then it gets a bit worse. They're going to be betrayed, arrested, even executed, and they are to use this as an opportunity to testify, to tell people about Jesus and the kingdom. But he gives them a promise. He says, "I will give you words and a wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to withstand or contradict. By your endurance you will gain your souls." We know that many of the disciples and other early followers were martyred, and many thousands have been martyred in the centuries since, arrested and silenced because they preached the gospel. And in many parts of the world it is still illegal to be a Christian, to own a Bible, to preach. But no one can extinguish the light of God. In the UK we have freedom of religion and freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean Christians aren't persecuted, just not by the state. Sometimes, sadly, it's by other Christians. As I wrote this sermon, I knew that many of my friends were being harassed on social media and on the streets because they dare to exist as gay, lesbian or trans and call themselves Christians. Some might say it doesn't matter, it's just words. But words hurt, and worse, they give legitimacy to abuse and violence. It was words which led to the Holocaust, words which lead to the mistreatment of asylum seekers and refugees, words which leave people feeling bruised and battered. So we can't be bystanders. We need to use our voices to drown out the hate. We need to reach out to the persecuted and show them the love of God. We need to remind them that they are loved by God, and that Jesus is there with them, standing right next to them, because he said he would be. God is the ultimate friend and ally, and he has promised never to leave us or forsake us. And Jesus gave us a promise too. By your endurance you will gain your souls. If you have been bruised because of your faith, if you have been attacked because of who you are, know that God loves you. You are his child and he's got your back. But know also that, as Christians, we should cry out against the hate, against the injustice, and strive for peace.